Welcome to Focus Hope. My name is Portia Roberson. I am the CEO of Focus Hope, and so I thank all of you for being here this morning. We think this is a very important event, and it's the reason why you all have been invited here this morning, so thank you for coming, and let's give you a round of applause for making it out this morning. The 2020 census, that's why we're here. And so I want to welcome all of you and let you know that the reason and what Focus Hope is going to do is we're going to be focused over the next year in ensuring that the 244 families that we serve through Head Start and early education are counted. We're going to make sure that the 500 youth, their families who are here for our after-school programs, that they are counted. The hundreds of adults who work with us and come to us for workforce training, let's make sure they are counted. And of course, our 44,000 seniors a month that we feed, let's make sure, of course, that they are counted. We want to make sure that all of you all in Southeast Michigan, in the city of Detroit, and around this state are counted. Focus Hope has a rich history here in this neighborhood. We provide services to our neighborhood and to the region around it, and so we want to make sure that those services can continue to be provided, and the way we do that is making sure that all of you are counted. So with that, it is my pleasure to welcome my former boss, not my old boss, my former boss, Honorable Mike Duggan, and his esteemed colleagues and my colleagues into Focus Hope as you are charged to ensure that everyone is counted in this next year. I want you to know that as you do this, you can count on Focus Hope to help you with all of your efforts. Let's bring up Alexis Wiley, who's going to be your MC for today's event.
Good morning. I'm going to ask one more time, who's ready to be counted? We've got a lot at stake in this census, and as you know, we're getting started early, a year early, because there is nothing more critical than making sure that every Detroiter is counted next year. Let's give everybody a round of applause for what we're doing here. Now, I would like to introduce, to really kick things off, our mayor, Mike Duggan.
All right. Well, good morning. It's a great crowd, and Portia Roberson was right the first time. I'm her old boss. I started out as a young boss, but that was quite a while ago. And I want to thank Portia and Focus Hope for having us here. They provide such critical service, and it is really why we're here. 1 year from today, we're going to start being counted. The census will count. And so in 2010, the lowest response rate of any major city in America was in Detroit. Now, there were a lot of things going on 10 years ago that people were distracted, and there wasn't this kind of effort put in. We said, this time we're not making any excuses. We're going to start early because of what's at stake. Head Start funding to give our children an early advantage at school, that funding's allocated based on the census count. Health care, Medicaid funding is allocated based on the census count. Our food assistance is allocated. Anybody here think the roads need improvement? All right. The federal road money is allocated by the census count, and of course, your state legislators and congressional representatives are allocated. And we have to be honest about what we're up against. I was a census taker in 1980. So I was an undergrad at the University of Michigan. It was my summer job. And I knocked on doors in racially mixed neighborhoods in Ann Arbor. And I can tell you firsthand, the minority undercount is a very real thing. When somebody from the government shows up and knocks on your doors and stops asking questions, people of color tend to be more suspicious. And as a result, we have seen time after time, the communities that need it most end up getting the least. It is $1,800 a year that we lose for every person that is not counted. And here's the other thing I know from my days as a census taker. The best person to get residents to fill out forms isn't necessarily the government. It's people they trust. It's people they know. People in their neighborhoods, people in the local nonprofits. And so we are engaging everybody. You look at this room. This room is Detroit. Everybody in this room is trusted by those in their own circles. And so we may fight about a bunch of different things, but to lose $1,800 a year for 10 years, we're all going to be united to get everybody counted. And so we're asking people, 10 minutes will get Detroit funded for 10 years. That's how long it takes to fill out the census. So the U.S. Census Bureau is hiring census takers right now between $15 and $19 an hour. You can go on the City of Detroit website. This fall, the city is going to be hiring, through our nonprofits and all of our partners, our own census takers to go back behind just in case the Trump administration isn't as thorough as we would like them to be. And so we will be hiring folks to come by. And for those of you who don't want paid jobs but are willing to volunteer because you know how important it is, if you go to the city site, you can be a block club volunteer and use your own trusted voice in your community to help. There are all these different ways to get involved, and I can't tell you how exciting it is to see 1 year out this kind of support. We're going to do a great job this time. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Mayor. So as the mayor spoke about, we've got to make sure that Detroiters who weren't counted last time are counted this time. And we are focused on making sure that those hard-to-count populations are touched and everyone's engaged. And to talk a little bit more about why that's so important, I'd like to invite Leah Hill, Michael Reyes, Sadie Sarr, and Tay from the Hooligans, and Shalonda Buckman up to speak about the importance of everybody responding to the census.
Good morning. My name is Leah Hill. I'm here to speak to those millennials. So for me, when the census starts in 2020, I'll be 25. The next time it comes around, I'll be 35. I personally view those 10 years as one of the, the stretch of one of the most foundational periods of my life in, leading a successful life here in Detroit. And for me, a successful life in Detroit means a healthy city, an educated city, a well-funded city. I mean, it's time for millennials to really step into what's important, and what's important is making sure that our city is taken care of. It's the only way that we as individuals can, continue to improve and continue to build upon where we've tried to start already. I personally have bought property in Detroit because I'm committed to being here for the long haul, and that means being a part of the 2020 census. It means working with other millennials to make sure that we are making sure our voices are heard and making sure that we're counted, as well as our parents, our grandparents. The census is online. How much more could a millennial ask for than to be able to fill out the census online? So, there's really no reason to not take out 10 minutes of your day to make sure that for the next 10 years, our education system is funded, people have access to health care, people are well fed. It's critical, and it's critical to build a successful, healthy, well-rounded city. So thank you for having me, and I'll let Reyes speak.
Thank you, Leah. So I'm gonna greet you in the ancient Detroit greeting. What up, though? How y'all doing? What up, though? Yo, so my name is Reyes, and I was debating whether to speak from experience or write a poem, and so I just wrote a poem about 10 minutes ago. So we're gonna do it. Cool, you're gonna like it, and if not, just pretend you like it, it's all right. Be counted, voices rise up, be heard, let it be known we are here. Dollars meant for you, for us, for me. Be counted, resources allocated, often lost, let them know what is needed. Be counted, be seen for our youth, elders for those often marginalized and left out on the wayside. Be counted, bring dollars back to every barrio, every hood, every space too often not seen by blind eyes. Be counted in Detroit, in Southwest, on the east side, the west side of our city. Be counted in every pocket, every corner, every enclave. Hear every sound, language, melodically telling our story, our struggle. Be counted for those who are often not cared for, loved, or cherished. Be counted for every time we could not be counted, for every picket, protest, fight, and struggle. Be counted in every color, every language, every religion, every tongue, every gender, every identity. Whether you pray to Allah, whether you kneel, whether you pray with Christ, whether you are God or earth, be counted. Be counted. Será contado, be counted so in Detroit we can rise. Whether citizen, whether resident, whether immigrant, am I granted the right to be heard, be seen, be brave, be a face, be a fighter, be a force. In 2019, Detroit, most of all, be counted. Will you join us? Be counted. Thank you.
Listen, I have to follow up after that. Listen, that was not what we agreed upon. I just have to say that. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Sadie, and I'm here on behalf of the Black immigrant population. Thank you. Because my community know what it is to be counted when you are deported. My community knew what it is to be counted when you have to go to jail. My community also know what it is not to be counted when resources are being allocated, when you don't have access to housing, when you don't have access to language services, when you don't have access to water, when the water is poison. So for Black immigrants to have been in this state, in this city, since 1826, but we still fumble when we need them to figure out where they are, that gap needs to be closed. So it is important that this year, we started here today a year before, and that in Detroit, we decided to ensure that everybody is counted, regardless of your country of origin and regardless of your status. Reminding Detroiters that when the white flight happened and some people ran away, some others stayed. And within the one that stayed, the Black immigrant population was here and didn't go nowhere. So we have been here centuries ago. But it is time for us this time to ensure that paperwork actually says the truth and tell the story. So I'm happy to be here today to call to action my community to open up their doors to our youth to be counted, and also to ensure that when we are counted, that we're also going to have access to resources. So Detroit, it's time for everybody in Detroit to be counted. Thank you.
Good morning, class. How y'all feeling today? Ain't nobody say how they was feeling. Good? Y'all feeling good or y'all feeling blessed? Blessed, yes, we're blessed. That's how I open up when I go speak to the youth. So I'm a youth advocate. I'm Uncle Tay of the Hooligans, and we are leaders amongst leaders. So I'm all about connecting with the youth and helping them understand the bigger picture of moving forward in life. Now, I'm new to understanding what the census is, but I learn fast. So I understand that it's about the funding of our city, the Medicaid, the support, everything that we do in the city, it'll be supported under the census outside of what we do as we work. The importance of working with the youth is skyrocketed because there's a lot that they're not exposed to in their everyday life. So when I go speak to the youth, I always make sure that they understand that anything is attainable. The sky is not the limit because the stars shine in the night, in the dark. So understand that you got to go through the darkness to get to the light. But being able to connect with the youth has been a blessing to me because every time I leave a classroom or leave an auditorium, I feel the impact. I see that they're taking in what I'm giving out. You know what I'm saying? And one of my favorite quotes from when I was in high school was, "Don't count the days." Wait. Don't count the days, make the days count. And April 1st, 2020, we're gonna make that day count, everybody.
I got so excited listening to the people before me, I forgot it was my turn. Good afternoon, I'm Charlonda Buckman on behalf of Detroit Public Schools Community District. We stand ready to do our part. We understand that the public school system has at risk $1.1 billion in funding if we don't get this thing right in Detroit. We know that if Detroit wins, we win, our schools win, our children win. So we are ready to engage in this work. We have 84 PTAs. We just had a conversation last week. They're ready to go into their school communities, into their neighborhoods to talk to folks because they know who doesn't typically get counted, because you feel disenfranchised, because you feel forgotten about, because life is hard right now, because you mad because the city isn't doing enough for you. This is not the time to take up your gripe, file a complaint. Our mayor has big shoulders, he can handle it, but fill out the census. So we know that our PTA leaders, some who are in this room, are going to help us with this work. We also have 94 school advisory councils that are made up of church members and community members all across the community. They're made up of teachers. And so those folks are ready to help and get into our school communities to make it count. There are three major ways that this count is going to help Detroit Public Schools Community District. I know we have a board member here who is here in support of the census as well, but one is through title funding. We spend a lot of those dollars helping parents get more involved with their children's education. We cannot afford to lose funding. We also know the school aid lunch fund. We have 67% of our young people who get free and reduced lunch. And every month there's a group of young people that meet with Dr. Vitti. They give them all their complaints, and one of the things they talk about is better lunches. Well, the lunches just got better, so we can't afford to lose the better lunches that we just established, okay? And we also know that we serve the largest number of children who have special needs within this Detroit community and also across the state. We know that we just had a facilities review that told us that we need $500 million to fix and repair our buildings at a time where we just added advocating for equitable funding for our schools. We cannot go into that conversation losing money that we now can control. If we make sure every person in our community is counted, we know that we can at least start with what we know we have, and then we can ask for more. So we are ready on behalf of the school district to do our part. We know that you guys are counting on us for the 100,000 families, young people, parents that represent our school district. And we also know that in order to get this work done, it's going to take the collective of us. So that's our commitment to the census, to the mayor, on behalf of Detroit Public Schools Community District. Thank you for allowing us to be involved.
I don't know about you, but after hearing our speakers, I feel so good about next year, don't you? Let's give them another round of applause. Wonderful. Now, I would like to introduce Senator Gary Peters and Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. They are on the front lines in Washington fighting for us, and they see every single day why this matters. Senator Peters?
Thank you, Alexis. Well, good morning, everybody. Are you fired up and ready to get out there? We have to make it count. We've got to make sure everybody counts. And I'll tell you, I'm going to bring a little bit of reality of what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now. You know, which is exactly right. So I'm the ranking Democrat on the Senate Oversight Committee for Government Affairs. We actually oversee the census. And I will tell you, the census is a major undertaking. One that is absolutely essential, as you've heard from these incredible speakers that are here before me. But I will also tell you there are some folks in Washington, D.C. that don't want everyone to be counted. And they're going to do everything they can to make sure that some folks in particular are not counted. We have stood up to them and said you can't be putting questions on the census, which makes it less likely that people want to answer it. That's challenged in court right now. We hope the courts will rule the right way, because it was clear that this administration is trying to sabotage that census, and we will not let that happen. And I know the men and women who will be hired for the census, and many folks, so hopefully you will get those jobs and get out there and work, are going to do their best. But remember, there are people around this state that want their communities to be counted, but not this community. We know that in the state of Michigan, there's a category called hard to reach individuals, which are particularly difficult to find, whether they're in urban areas, far rural areas. The number is 800,000 people are on that hard to reach list. Many of those folks are right here in the city of Detroit. There are folks that are concerned about the online process. I've heard from the millennials, keep the online. We definitely will do that. But another cautionary note, we believe that because of the way the system is now, only 55% of folks may do the initial screening. That's the lowest number we have seen in many censuses. So that means the work that all of us are going to be doing is more important than ever. Because not everybody has access to online. Not everybody's on the internet. Our seniors are not going to be there. Seniors need to be counted. Folks who do not have access to online need to be counted. And the way we're going to do that is everyone in this room, we're going to get out there, we're going to knock on doors, we are going to talk to folks and understand that when you are counted, your voice is heard. You will have $1,800 of federal money coming here. That's nearly $20,000 over 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, $20,000 is a lot of money. We're going to count everybody in the city of Detroit. We are going to show that everybody in this state has a voice, and we're going to prove it next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peters. I think you're going to make me look calm today, which is good. Yes, it is hard to do. I am so passionate about this, but I got to tell you, just being in this room with all of you, with our mayor, with our elected officials, all of these incredible community advocates, our mothers in our community, all of you, it makes me fall in love with our city even more. I can tell you, in 2010, there were 12 regional census offices. In 2020, you know what the White House is sending us? 6. And it's true what he's telling you. Senator Peters is right. He doesn't want us counted. In 2010, there were over 500 area census offices. In 2020, they're only going to give us 248. I know about our city. When people tell us we can't do it, we show them we can do it. And I want to challenge you all. Show them. Outwork the hate, outwork this kind of un-American policies that say that we don't count. Because it's not just about money, it is also about political power. And know this, if there's any city that can show people that they tell us we can't be counted, it is the city of Detroit. So we're all of you counting on you. And I can tell you, the city of Detroit doing this, the mayor's saying, let's get out here a year out. He's saying to block clubs, to community members without titles, these are people that are on the ground every single day. They're telling you, he's offering, the administration is saying, let's get out now and let's get folks counted. This is a challenge we all can take on. And I don't care if it's in the buses, and I even mentioned it to them, get on the buses. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get on a bus from I'm serious, from downtown Grand River all the way to Redford Township, and I'm gonna count every single resident of mine in the 13th Congressional District. I believe in you. I know we're gonna be able to do it. And tell me, one time when they told us we couldn't, and we always rise up. And this is a time we're gonna show the White House, and you know who, we're gonna rise up. Thank you so much.
Let's give Senator Peters and Congresswoman Tlaib another round of applause for all their hard work. Now, I'd like to introduce a woman who I feel is really the brains behind this operation, the Executive Director for the Census, Vicki Kavari.
Well, all I can say is this is exactly how we wanted this to look. And it's a great testament to all of you, to all our work over the last 5 years in the neighborhoods. But this is the hard part. So this is where we get to tell you exactly what you need to do to help and how you can get involved. So we really want to flip the script in Detroit, right, from 2010 to now. Totally flip the script and count everybody. And to do that, it's going to take every single one of you in this room and a lot more people. So the first thing I want to talk about is we're going to be recruiting neighborhood census ambassadors. These are folks who are going to be responsible for every single census tract in the city. So 297 census tracts, we're going to have someone covering each of those tracts. Neighborhood ambassadors are going to sign people up. They're going to go to the block clubs. They're going to organize events. We're going to have 150 questionnaire assistance centers in places like Head Start offices, and you guys are going to be there as well, helping people sign up at those centers. So we want you to sign up to be a neighborhood census ambassador. The second thing is a paid canvassers. As the mayor indicated, we're going to hire paid canvassers in the fall, and we're going to hire them next spring to make sure that every single person is counted. We're going to be going door to door to every single one of these tracts to make sure no one is left behind. The third thing, and this is really important, this is a period where we have to educate and motivate people, right? So we want to take the spirit that's in this room and go out into the neighborhoods. So we're going to ask you to sign up to have a presentation before your own community group, your block club, your fraternity, wherever we can get presentations made. We have a whole group of folks on our Complete Count Committee who can go out there and do these presentations. So in the back, there'll be tables as you exit on the left-hand side where you can either sign a card or we'll have 6 computers where you can go on the city's website. And I want you all to be conscious, the website is launching today. So as you're sitting here, our website on the census is launched. BeCountedDetroit.org, right? As you can see over here. So you can go on the website, there'll be a button that says Get Involved, or you can fill out the cards or go on the website. People will help you in the back, but do not leave here without knowing exactly what you're going to do. That's incredibly important. All the great speeches, the fantastic poem we heard, all the inspiration here doesn't mean anything unless you get involved. That's the only way we're going to pull this off. So just finally, we have a table out there that the U.S. Census Bureau is staffing, and they can sign people up, give you information about the 2,000 jobs that the U.S. Census Bureau is hiring for in Detroit. And we want them to hire Detroiters for those jobs, all right? So between the city and the U.S. Census Bureau, we're talking about 3,000 jobs that we're gonna have for the census. So we are leaving everything out on the floor in the spirit of March Madness, right? To get this done, all right? So don't leave here. We're also gonna have food in the back. You can grab your pizza, but do not leave here without signing up to do something, going home, checking out our website, getting the word out, scheduling a presentation. So again, I'm going to bring up Reverend Van to sort of close us out and give us a great clarion call. But again, I want to emphasize, it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to all of us to make sure we get this right.
Good morning. Good morning. What you see here is passion, and what you see here is unity. All of us who are here come from different walks of life, but it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. All of us are Detroiters. We understand the unanimity that we have one with the other in this moment. We have our challenges, we have our issues, we even have our disagreements. But what we have today is a tapestry of unity that is going to get every person in Detroit counted in this 2020 census. We are united, we are motivated, we are activated, and we are passionate until every demographic, every person, every child, every school, every church, every nonprofit, every block club, every constituency group comes together for this moment, that this moment might be a signature moment in the history of Detroit. I too, like the mayor, have served on the census since 1980. This makes our 5th census that we're serving. I started serving in 1980 on the church committee as a young pastor there with the late Mayor Coleman Young. And I'm here today standing with Mayor Mike Duggan to make sure that everybody in this city is counted. Now, it's important for us not to just stand and talk. It's important for us not to just prevaricate and proclamate. It's important for us to come together because that's what Detroit does. Detroit comes together when we have to come together because we are one family. And even though we have different things going on, there are all kinds of issues that we're trying to make sure that we address, and much more is on the way. But I'll tell you, in this room is a tapestry of strength. Where there is unity, there is strength, and we are unified, not only on this podium, but we are unified in this room and in this community to take this to a level where the people who do not want us counted will have to count us anyhow. We know that there are forces in our nation. We know that there are people in our nation. We know that there are other groups in our nation that do not want Detroit to be counted. But Detroit will stand tall, and Detroit will stand together as one, and we shall be counted. And the good thing about it is that in this census, everybody's count is the same. I don't care what demographic you come from, what neighborhood you may come from, what socioeconomic strata you may come from. All of us are counted as one, and we shall be as one, as all of us are now counted in this census, and we will rise and be counted, and the world will know that we count. So you've seen the clarion call from so many who have stood behind this microphone today. All of the leadership that's here, all of the outreach, all of the people who are represented here, and so many others who will join us in this fight. What I ask that you do now is not just listen to a good speech. What I ask that you do is not just listen to a good soundbite on tonight's news. But what I ask you to do is to go and enlist and become a part of what's going on, because the best person to reach a person is a person that somebody already knows. It won't be the people coming in from Washington counting us that will make the difference. It will be the people in this room and the people across Detroit who are going to make this count the best count that we have ever had in the history of the city of Detroit. Let's rise up to it. Let's go and get it done. It's our time. It's our turn. It's our season. Let's get it done.
Let's give Bishop Van another round of applause. Now, if you're posting pictures on social media, if you're sharing this, use the hashtag #BeCountedDetroit. Instagram, I think it's still #BeCounted. I think still hashtag #BeCounted. So we got the millennials telling me, what is it? City of Detroit, we're on Instagram. Hashtag #BeCountedDetroit. Thank you, Jasmine and Amber. Appreciate you.